The Elite Dangerous Odyssey alpha test is coming to a close, and in my mind, there's a few things that must change before these things go live. Today's video is sponsored by SecretLab. We all strive for the best possible gaming experience, but the importance of a good quality chair is often underestimated. SecretLab produces some of the most comfortable and high quality gaming chairs you can get. So upgrade your commander chair today and fly in style and comfort. Follow the link in the video description to their store, type in your height, your weight, and it will tell you which chairs fit you for the best possible seating experience. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Elite Dangerous Odyssey. This is going to be my feedback, some of the things I think needs to change before we see Odyssey going live. And I know that Odyssey is on a month-old branch, and a lot of the things I'm going to mention may already be fixed in the branch that we're not playing on. So anyway, I just want to give my feedback of what I think needs to change. And of course, if you agree or disagree, I would love to know about it in the comment section. And the first thing I want to mention is the current lighting. Elite Dangerous has always been a beautiful game. And the same with Odyssey, and with the rework, it is even prettier than ever. New shaders for the ships, looks amazing. Problem is, they're just really hard to see because large part of the games is just shrouded in darkness and shadow. I know the current lighting model we have in Odyssey is more realistic and it's more physically correct. But I think it is such a shame to have a game as pretty as Elite Dangerous Odyssey is and just completely shrouded in darkness. So here I really hope Frontier would make some compromises and move away from the scientifically realistic approach. Now I do really approve of Frontier's focus on keeping the game as scientifically correct as possible, but again also making compromises where it makes sense for a game perspective. And I think this is one of those places where making that compromise is necessary, because I just think it's such a shame if we can't see it properly. The next thing on my list is something, and it boggles my mind how this has made it in, and that is the material storage for the new on-foot materials. For those of you who've been playing Elite for quite some time will remember back in the day when all engineering materials had a global capacity. That means you could only hold, let's say, 1,000 materials regardless of what type they were. And that was hugely frustrating. You would have to constantly throw away materials, and back then Frontier then changed it over to the current method where we have individual capacities for each material. Now in Odyssey, we again have a global capacity for the 3 new types or major types of materials. And it just boggles my mind why Frontier would make this mistake again. They did it in the past, they realized it, they fixed it, and now they're doing it again. So I really, really hope that Frontier is going to make individual storage capacities for each materials, just as we have with the ship-based materials. We have the same system for the on-foot material, instead of having like a global or a common or default capacity, whatever you want to call it, where all of them kind of one bin where they all go in. But the third one here was really in doubt whether I should include this in the video at all, because I'm pretty sure it will be fixed, but I also feel like if it doesn't, it's going to be a deal breaker for a lot of people, and that is the current performance of the Elite Dangerous Odyssey Alpha. Again, it's an alpha, I know, and yes, they will most likely be doing a lot of optimization on it. They might already have done a lot of optimization on it before this thing goes live. I just think that it's so important that Frontier fulfills that promise, that we're not going to see any significant performance degradation from Horizons when moving over to Odyssey. I know there's a lot of people who are playing on older rigs, they may be playing on not that powerful laptops or something like that, and I think it's so important that that is getting fixed so we're not alienating that part of the player base. I just think this is such an important thing that the performance is improved. It's horrendous right now. Fair enough, it's an alpha, that is to be expected, but I really, really hope we're going to see a improvement in that aspect before the game goes live. I also have a number of like smaller things where I feel like, yeah, that would be really nice. It's not a huge deal breaker, but I would really like to see them change anyway, or maybe be added into the game. So these are like smaller things, small nitpicky quality of life things that I would really like to see in the game. First of all, a search box for our key bindings. With Odyssey, we have now even more key bindings. We have literally hundreds of different key bindings. And sometimes if you're just looking for where is the key binding for whatever, and you just can't find it, having a search box at the top where you can type in keywords that would then filter it and then show only the key bindings that match that keyword would be super, super nice. Also, the ramming damage bug, I would also really like to see that being changed. I know it's a bug and not a balance, because I've been looking into the journal files when you ram into things, and you can see the ram damage being registered multiple times, sometimes 4, maybe even 5 times have a single ram being registered in the file. That means what happens is you collide with an object, and then the ram damage just go tick, 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 and that's why the ram damage is so significant as it is right now, and also why it's not always reliable to reproduce the bug, because sometimes you ram and then you only register it once because it works correctly, but other times it just registers 5 times and kills your ship. It's not a huge deal breaker, but it could just be such an annoyance for a lot of different gameplay loops, combat, mining, or well, anytime you try to fly in and out of the station, if you just happen to scratch the mail slot on the way out or in, and you just suddenly like lose half your hit points. The next thing is the ship selection screen when you're swapping between ships. I like the new interface, it's pretty, but right now the vast majority of the screen is taken up by a picture of the ship, which take a while to load, but move somewhere things around and give us an info box rather than have the icon of the manufacturer. Give us an info box with some information, basic stats in the ship, jump range, top speed, something like that. Just some basic information about the ship. It just helps a lot when you're scrolling through your different ships if you're looking for something. And next thing that I would really like to see change as well is the landing gear on a lot of the ships are really poorly modeled. If you look at this, for instance, this is the landing gear of the Federal Corvette, and you can see that it is only being held in place by what looks like a single hydraulic piston. The rest of the landing gear is just not connected to the actual landing foot, the main part that touches the ground. And it just seems odd. The landing gear is by far the part of the ship that we are going to be interacting the closest with in Odyssey. Every time you walk up to it, you're going to walk past that landing gear. So they need to have more attention to the details on these on the landing gear of the ship, because we're going to be so close to them. So having these huge gaps in between different, that's just not good enough. Again, this is not a game breaker, it's just an immersion breaker. And I would really like that the landing gear get a little bit of an extra pass so that they actually physically make sense. Next up we have stairs up to the ships. This is such a huge missed opportunity. While this is not a bug or anything, this is just something I would really like to see getting added into the game. A lot of the ships have stairs. Imperial Cutter is one of them, of course. While the stairs is a little bit out of proportions, and that would be nice to see that change so that it makes more sense compared to the height of the person. I would also love for us to be able to walk up those stairs. Ideally, I wanted like a door that opens into an elevator that takes us up into the cockpit so we can walk up to the chair. But that might be a little bit too much to ask at this point in time. So if we could just be able to walk up to the door and then have the little blue ring teleporty thing at like just in front of the door instead. And the same, put the spawn point when we go out of the ship at the top of the stairs, just for the ship that has it. Some of the ships will exit out the back between the engines, where there's a little platform. Maybe allow us to go like spawn up there and then maybe, I don't know, walk down a ladder or something like that. I don't know, a little bit more difficult with those that doesn't have the stairs up. But at least for a start, allow us for the ships where a landing stair is already implemented into the landing gear. Allow us to walk up those stairs up to a door and just either like interact with the door and then teleport us, or move the blue teleporting ring up there if that's what you prefer. It would just add so much to the immersion of the game, and I would think it would be a huge thumb up for a lot of people if we could have that. And it would be such a small thing, I think, to implement that. I really think it's a missed opportunity not to do that. Another, this is a very small thing, it's just an annoyance, and that is the fact that the going into the camera suite key binding for on foot cannot be the same as it can be for SRV and for ships. Right now, we can have the same key binding, Control-Alt-Space as default, to go into the camera suite. And you can have the same set of key bindings for both on-ship and in SRV, but not on foot. It collides with the in-ship for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. And the final thing is regarding to the new bookmark management system. I like that we had a better bookmark management system than we had before. That is definitely a plus. But one thing that I find a little weird is you cannot delete bookmarks from the map without going into the little like management interface. There is a button on the HUD for adding a bookmark. So if you highlight a system and you focus on it, you can click and you can bookmark it. And when you then click on a system you already bookmarked, that button is grayed out. Instead of having it grayed out, flip it over and allow us to delete bookmarks. For people like me who use the bookmark system quite a lot, I I think it's annoying having to go into that management interface. It's good for like the bigger things to get an overview of what you have and to find a specific one maybe. There, it's fine. But for the like day-to-day quick management, just instead of graying it out, just flip it over so that allows us to delete a bookmark directly from the Galaxy map. So that's my feedback for Odyssey. Do you disagree? Do you think I missed something? Or do you have better solutions for some of the things that I proposed here? Comment section is down below. Also, remember to stay tuned to the channel for all the dangerous Odyssey content as it comes out here in about 2 weeks. So go down and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, I will see you guys in space.